Ensula baba. Ojja. Ojje na bweru. Ojja sawa meka. Kubyako koli omwami wakatabo. Wakatabo. Ojjukira omwami wakatabo gwe nakuwa luli. Akuwa akatabo akalala akasitaati. Kanjikusindikire. Njikusindikire. Aneze nina message siba na message. Kale. Nkwe Airtel ya MTN. A very good morning to you all.
Good morning, teacher.
People come in very late or late. I don't know what happens. I've been here waiting for people to collect to 5, but it's good we are here. So last time we had introduced quadratic equations, and we had seen the factorization method. So today we want to review the method of completing squares and the quadratic formula, perhaps. Okay, unless if someone has a number they landed on that you feel like I should visit before I can proceed. There is a number that you have that you feel I should have to encounter before you can before you can proceed. Okay. So if there is no number, then let's look at the method of completing squares. No, before the method of completing squares, did I talk about the method of the quadratic formula? The quadratic Do you want me to derive it? Or you'll check it out on yourself, by yourselves, on your own. Whereby if you have ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then the quadratic formula states that x1 and 2 is equal to negative b plus or minus under the root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. So examples. One, x squared plus 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. And 2, 2x squared minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. So the first one, it is healthy to identify that if you have x squared plus 4x minus 1 is 0, identify a as 1, b as 4, c as negative 1. Then you are now ready to substitute in our formula. It is no harm, write it down all the time so that you get used until you get familiar with it. That's when you stop writing it down. But if you're not yet familiar, write it down on every number. So you'll have x1 and 2 is equal to negative 4 plus or minus under the root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1, all divided by 2 times 1. You realize a negative 4 plus or minus under the root of 16 minus 4 divided by 2. So give us negative 4 plus or minus root of 20, all is over 2. So x1 can be addition, negative 4 plus root of 20 divided by 2. Then x2 can be negative 4 minus root of 20 divided by 2. What answers do we get?
x1 is equal to 0.2361.
0.2361. The second one.
Negative 4.2361.
Can you investigate with the calc? Remember, I told you never say you have the calculator method. Just use the calculator to investigate. Okay. So investigate and see.
It's the same.
Okay. Then the second number. The second number says 2x squared minus x minus 6 is 0. Our A is 2. Our B is -1. Our C is -6. Remember, the equation states that equation x1 and x2 are got from negative b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. And this will give us a -1, x1 and 2. Will give us a -1 plus or minus root of 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times -6, all divided by 2 times 2, giving us +1 plus or minus root of 1 plus 24. Because this is -24, negative outside becomes a positivity divided by 4. This will realize 1 plus or minus root of 25, all is over 4. So x1 and 2 are actually 1 plus or minus 5 all over 4. The first one, x1, can be addition, which is 6 out of 4, and the answer is 1.5. Then the second one, x2, can be 1 minus 5 out of 4, and the answer is negativity of 4, which x2 is actually -1. If you check here and you put -1, you get 2 plus 1. These are wrong answers. If I investigate with -1, I get a +2 plus 1. 3 minus 6 is not 0. I think these are wrong, not so. Confirm with the calc and see. No. I made a mistake, guys. Did you see the mistake I made? 4 times 6 is 24. I forgot to multiply with a 2 to give us 48. Yeah. So when you add this, you get 8, you get 2. When you subtract -7, you get what? -6 out of 4, which is -1.5. So x is 2 and x is -1.5. If I put 2, I get 2 times 4, which is 8. 8 minus 2, you get 6. 6 minus 6, 0, correct. Investigate 3.5. I mean 1.5, which is 3 over 2. 1.5 squared is the same as 9 over 4. 9 over 4 times 2 is the same as 18 over 2. 18 over 2 plus 3 over 2, you get 21 over 2. 21 over 2. When I put 1.5, I'll get +3 out of 2, yes. There I'll get 9 out of 4, which is 9 out of 2. 9 out of 2 plus 3 out of 2, you get 12 out of 2, which is 6. 6 minus 6 is 0. Very correct. I think they are all correct. We can confirm that, not so. Okay, so we shouldn't waste a lot of time on this method. We have used it a lot everywhere. Let's go to the last method, completing squares. This one I have to first review how it comes about. The method of completing squares talks about this. You have x squared plus bx plus c with an a here. First divide everything by a. You'll get x squared plus b out of a of x plus c out of a is equal to 0. When you divide everything by a, get the coefficient on linear x. This is linear x. This is quadratic. This is a constant. So the coefficient on linear x is going to be, if x squared is the quadratic plus b out of a of x, get the coefficient on linear x, which is b out of a, square it. You have it first. You first have it. When you have it, you get b over 2a. Then square it, then subtract by itself. You subtract by what you've done. You're introducing what we call a useful zero. Yeah? For those of us who go for advanced mathematics, this is called a useful zero, whereby you can remove it if you don't want it. Then plus c out of a is 0. Now, when you look at this part, this is a quadratic coming from the expansion of x plus b out of 2a. When you expand x plus b out of 2a, you come up with this one. You can investigate in your free time. Then minus b squared over 4a squared plus c out of a is equal to 0. Then you have x plus b out of 2a squared is actually equal to b squared over 4a squared minus c out of a. With this note, we can have x plus b out of 2a squared is equal to b squared minus 4a squared c, or not 4a squared, but 4a divided by 4a squared. Then when you get the square root on both sides, you'll get x plus b out of 2a is equal to plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all divided by 2a. This is how it comes about to give us the quadratic formula, that negative b over 2a plus or minus under the root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Then ideally the quadratic formula is deduced as negative b plus or minus root of b squared minus 4ac all is over 2a. It comes from the method of what we call the method of completing squares. So what I wanted out of you most is this part. This is very sensitive. Then we make the subject, and then we find the square root on both sides, as per what this definition states. You can first synchronize it now and go through it as you take the screenshot, then we go for examples.
But teacher, the thing is giving us the quadratic equation. Why don't we just go with that rather than first putting all this to derive it?
Why don't we what? Why don't we just what?
I see everything is giving us the quadratic formula. Why don't we go with that rather than first proving everything? I mean, if they give us questions, do we have to again first do everything to go back to the same formula?
No. You know, we are going to use this equation. At this level, no one can ask you that use the factorization method and solve. Use the bulldozer method and solve. No. By completing squares, you will just see the most efficient formula to be used is factorization, and that is detected by you, the learner. The most suitable formula here is quadratic equation. The most suitable formula here is completing squares. It will be you to see. No one will ever command you in A level that use the factorization, though we have to see the method you are using. But the appropriateness is supposed to be discovered by the learner. Okay?
Teacher, can they tell you to derive it?
No. But we need to know why. Because it has to help us somewhere else. We shall see the applications. You wait. You are going to see the applications. So that's why I'm saying in A level, we have to show you where things come from, so that you don't just answer questions just like that. So you have examples here. 1. But even in O level, you derive these, unless if you are not in a 5-star school. Then 2. Then 3. Then 4. How many should the teacher solve? Okay, this one I've already done. So also you will try out deriving that equation and see. Okay, so with that sense, we are going to try out some of those numbers right now.
Teacher, teacher, we can't hear you. Teacher, you muted yourself.
Yes, guys. Sorry, I was speaking to someone else. That's why I had to mute him. Okay.
Yes.
The first one says x squared plus 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. Nonsense. Now, because this one has already a coefficient 1, you don't need to divide. So straight away, you say plus 3x. The coefficient on x, half it, you get what? 3 over 2. Square it, subtract by itself. We are using the method of completing what? Squares. But the whole of this part, we have said, becomes a quadratic equation or expansion of x plus 3 over 2 squared minus 9 over 4 minus 1 is 0. You will get x plus 3 over 2 squared is equal to 13 over 4. Then, if it is equal to 13 over 4, we can now go ahead and make x the subject to get the answers. But to make x the subject to get the answers, you will see that you will have to get the square root on both what? On both sides. And when you get a square root, you get a positive and negative. So you will have x plus 3 over 2 squared is equal to 13 over 4. So x plus 3 over 2 is actually plus or minus root of 13 over 4. So our x is equal to 3 over 2 plus or minus a negative now root of 13 over 4. So can we get x1? So this method ideally induces into the quadratic formula. So the lady was asking about why is it that you are coming to the quadratic formula? It is because the quadratic formula is found using the method of completing squares. So you can have that down. Let me first see someone here briefly. Yes, so what are the answers? X1 is what? Yes, I'm unmuted now. I was speaking to someone. What is X1? You never know. Some books in proofs of mechanics, for example, they can tell you to prove that this is the answer. Or prove that the roots are these ones. If they ask you to leave the answers or to prove like that, then you have to leave the answers in that form. What do we get? Guys, what answers did you get?
The first one is 0.3028.
Excuse me, teacher.
The second one is 3.3028.
Yes, someone says excuse. So you allow me to do either number 2 or number 3, then one of them is yours now. Which one should I try out? Should I try out Roman 3 or Roman 2?
Teacher,
Yes, please.
the second x, the x2 was a negative 3 point that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So which one should I try out? Roman 2 or Roman 3?
Roman 3.
Okay. Roman 3 says 3x squared minus 4x minus 2 is 0. You first divide by 3, the coefficient of x, quadratic x. So we shall get x squared minus 4 over 3 minus 2 over 3 is 0. Now go ahead and half the coefficient on x by saying x squared minus 4 over 3 of x plus 4 over 3. When you half the 4 over 3, you get 4 over 6. Then square it and subtract by itself. Minus 2 over 3 is going to be equal to 0. So with this regard, we shall have x squared, this first part here, to become x minus, because here there is a minus, x minus 4 over 6 squared minus 16 over 36 minus 2 over 3 is 0. You have x minus 4 over 6 squared minus 4 over 9 minus 2 over 3 is 0. The LCM here is going to be 9. So the other one will be negative 6, negative 10. So x minus 4 over 6 squared is equal to 10 over 9. Square root will confirm x minus 4 over 6 is equal to plus or minus root of 10 over 9. Therefore, x1 is equal to 4 out of 6 plus root of 10 over 9. Or x2 is equal to 4 out of 6 minus root of 10 over 9, and get the answer. Then number 2 is yours, and you're going to do it now. Unless if someone has a question.
Excuse me, teacher.
Yes, please.
Could you repeat from the step from the third step?
1, 2, 3 here.
Yes.
Aunt Kakati, what is confusing you most? Is it this one or this one? Whenever we reach this stage, and you see this, or you see this one, just know it's an expansion that is coming from. I think we need to show that it is the same. X plus 3 over 2. If you're expanding it, you'll get x squared plus twice times x times the second term plus 3 over 2 squared. You see that this reduces by 2, then you get x squared plus 3x plus 3 over 2 squared. So this is here before. So I go and take it back before expanding, it comes back to this one. So all other terms, when they reach that level, if here there is a minus, then you will also have a minus. There is a minus on B. So you will have x squared minus 4 over 3x plus 4 over 6 squared. It is the same as x minus 4 over 6 bracket squared. And then you get the answer. So with that, you simplify. When you come to the 4 over 6, when you square the 4, you get 16. A positive, not a negative. Divide by 36. By a negative minus 2 over 3. When you simplify it by 4, you get 4 up, 9 down. Then this 9 will divide the 3 to give you a 3. Then the 3 multiplies this 2 to give us a 6. Negative 4 minus 6, you get a negative 10. When it crosses over, it becomes a positive 10 over 9. Then you make x the subject. Okay? So proceed and do Roman 2. Very fast, before I can talk about their maximum and minimum values.